Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. But welcome to a rather sunny afternoon here on this Monday afternoon in the UK, and welcome to the Easy Level Up Videocast. I am one of your hosts. I am Tom Mosley, one of the UK and I evangelists, working with Microsoft to help everybody on the planet and every organization achieve more. And I am joined by someone a little bit different as my co-host today. Slightly less hair, but we have Mr. Matt Fields. How are you, sir?
I was all right until that comment. I was perfectly fine then until slightly less hair comment. I mean, I apologise. It's not the colour that we're used to, but
I think we should have got some spray paint and just like spray painted your head red.
Just spray it'd be like a snooker ball, right? But yeah, no, I'm fine, mate. Thank you. Yeah, I'm good. Say it's sunny, mate. I'm a little bit I don't normally get claustrophobic in a room, but it's really stuffy in here, and I want to go outside. It looks really good.
If we just all stream from outside, also get our mobile phones out and just start streaming and see what happens.
Yeah. And how are you? You good?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Warm, but it's been it was an unusual weekend. I don't feel like I rested. I did car boot sales and help someone move and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was not a restful weekend, but an activity filled one. So I can't really complain.
Wow. With today's stream that we're going to talk about, when you have children, you don't ever get those. So yeah.
So I count my blessings while I've still got them, right? Well, I haven't got kids.
Definitely, mate. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are live, so we do have some people watching us live. So thank you very much for joining us. Got WATF355, sorry, over on Twitch. Hello to you. Tarsin over on Twitch as well, and also over on Facebook. Thank you very much. So I'm back on Facebook. Good to know that it's all working. I did quickly jump on to make sure that it was when I saw your comment. But yeah, as always, if there's anything going wrong with the stream that we can't see, let us know in the comments. And if you are here watching us, make sure you come and say hi as well. We are going to be asking for some of your participation with our normal quick fire questions, bits and pieces. But Matt, what are we going to be talking about today? If people haven't seen the title, didn't see the thumbnail, let us know what we're going to be talking about.
Well, I mean, again, I don't know if I should be offended that I've been invited along, but it is Bring Your Parents to Work Day, right? So bring your parents to the stream, and the reason we've done this is because we're going to be talking about all things backwards compatible, so older games that have been around for a while, and family settings app as well, to do with gaming, and Microsoft 365 as well with their safety app as well, and how keeping your kids is safe is priority for most of us while we game and do things online. So that's 100%. What today is about. Yeah,
it's a little bit of different video cast today, because obviously we usually kind of concentrate on one main topic. We do a little bit of backstory and then we go into the main topic, whereas today is going to be a little bit different, kind of two main topics, talking about some of the old generations of gaming, as then Matt said, obviously going into the family safety bits and pieces. So yeah, it could be interesting. As I say, we're still going on till 3 o'clock. So yeah, I'll have our wonderful faces, but we have more wonderful faces, Matt, don't we, to bring along on this journey?
Not just my old face. Oh no, we've got other faces too, and I can see him pointing at me now in the green room. He's like, don't you talk about me. So yeah, do you want me to introduce them? Should we do this properly like we always do?
Let's go with, obviously Hannah isn't here today. She has taken some annual leave. So in her spirit, I think it would only right to introduce them as she always does.
So I have found some words that I can use.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm not as articulate as Hannah, but we will see how this works. So we will go, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, please could have a virtual round of applause for the nifty, the nimble, and the neighbourly Nigel Timms, ladies and gentlemen. Nigel Timms.
Here he is. Welcome, Nigel.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me on to the video cast.
It's your first one, if I'm not mistaken.
My first one. Why has it taken so long?
Don't know, to be honest.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, apparently, Nigel, they only get us out when they need somebody who's old. So
okay.
I'm not happy about this. I don't know. We should start a rebellion, I think.
That counts me in. That counts me in. Happy,
Always taking things the wrong way, Matthew. Always taking things the wrong way.
Yeah.
happy to be on.
Amazing. Well, Nigel, we do the podcast. We do the In the Loop podcast together, don't we? So it's we have a medium in which you were involved digitally, but it's nice to get you actually on the video cast, seeing your wonderful face as well.
Thank you very much. I do have a face for radio, not video.
Well, I'm sure chat will disagree.
Can we spray paint his head as well, and then we can be like a billiards, like a set of billiards?
I resembled that comment you made earlier about hair, Tom. Grass never grows on a busy street.
Very true. And we are.
I've just got to show this.
Yeah, I'm about to say we're also joined by wonderful Mr. Dale Brocklehurst as well.
Hi, Dale.
Good afternoon to you, Dale. Thank you very much for joining us. But Matt, who else do we have?
Are you ready for this? Okay.
I'm ready for the words.
Ladies and gentlemen, our second guest for today. Please, can we be upstanding and a virtual round of applause again, please? For the beautifully beaming beacon that is Benjamin Abuaje.
And here he is.
Oh man, what an intro.
What an intro.
That's probably one of the best ones. Got to give it that to you, Mr. Field.
Well, it's that smile, mate. It's that smile that you've got.
If I say Ben's camera is frozen, but his voice is still coming through.
Well.
So, but it is,
right on the beaming smile.
Man.
it is perfectly frozen on the beaming smile. So you have a good freeze face, Ben. You have a good freeze face, which is all good and all that really matters.
All that matters. Afternoon, gentlemen. Afternoon, all in the audience. Hope you're all great and happy to be on the video cast. Been a while.
Yeah, it's been good. It's nice to get a group back together again. We've got some new people on with Nigel, and good to have some returning guests and some new co-hosts as well, which is always nice.
Yeah.
We spoke about earlier on that Hannah isn't here today, but we want her to be here in spirit. So I think it's only right that we delve straight into what is Hannah's favourite part of the show, which is the one, the only. It is quick fire questions. There we go. She is still here in spirit with that drum beat, and thank you, Adam, for please putting a donk on that, as I will keep referring to it as that, as even though no one else.
I mean, how cool are you? You use the word donk.
Donk. I'm down with the kids, with the street lingo and all that sort of stuff. But because Hannah isn't here. The great thing is I get to write the quickfire questions as well. So I have all the power today. I have all the power, and I've made a note of them, and they're all going to be slightly on topic. So they're going to be dealing with backwards compatibility and older generations, as well as the kind of family safety bits and pieces as well. So the order I'd like to go in is Matthew, then Nigel, then Ben, then I'll go. So, yeah. What did I say? Matt, Nigel, Ben, me. Matt, there we go. I'm personifying Hannah. She gives the order and then forgets the order. So it's fine. Okay. So question one for quick fire questions.
Okay.
Would you rather, so I don't know if you remember back in the day, would you rather use the original OG Xbox Duke controller or the slimmed down S version of it, and why?
Oh, and I'm going first.
You are going first.
So I got a real soft spot for the Duke in my heart, like a real soft spot. It's easy one, purely for nostalgia. You know what I'm like. I will go for the Duke. Okay. 100%, because that's where it really started. However, the slimmer ones are good. They're good.
They're nice. They are very nice.
I'm gonna go big fat Duke in my hands. Massive thing. It just felt like I was there with Master Chief. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. I feel awesome. What about yourself, Nige?
Easy one for me, for two reasons. One, I had a motorbike. I can't mention the brand, but it ended in Duke. And the other thing is, it fits nicely in my small, delicate hands. So it was almost crafted for me.
For those beautiful people that can't see his hands very well, or they are massive. They're like Volkswagen Beetles. The cars are available on the end of his arms, right?
That's one way to put it, Matt. That's definitely one way to put it. So we've got 2 for the Duke. Ben, what about you? You staying with the bigger Duke controller, or you going slim? Going slim.
Oh man, I struggled with that controller. I'm sorry. It's just I was not fans of it. It's just it's bigger than me. It felt bigger than me. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I did not agree with it. Maybe it did not agree with me. Let's be kind to it, right? Slim one. When I saw that, I was like, finally.
Is it because the slim controller fits in your man purse?
That was a mistake, Tom.
I had to get it on a live stream.
Oh
man, I was going to go for that line. That was
good.
Good.
So, for those of you who don't know, we have a bit of an in-joke on the team where we slightly take the mick out of Ben for his man bag, as much as they are very useful and you can utilize them very well. We do like to take the mick a little bit, and I had to get it out on a live stream. So there you go. It happens. To move on, I would also pick the original Duke controller. One for a very similar reason as Nigel is I have quite big hands, so it just fit really, really well. That's why I really like the Xbox controllers. It fits really well on my hands. But also, the original Duke controller and the slim controller version, they moved the location of the black and white buttons.
Yes,
and I didn't like the location of the black and white buttons on the slim version.
I agree, and I was thinking this when Ben was talking about it. I was trying to picture it, and I remember the buttons move. I got so used to the black and white button being where it was.
Yeah,
it did, isn't it? That's true.
Yeah, and then they moved it, and I was like, no, this is wrong.
And when I now play backwards compatible games, and it goes press the black button, and I'm like, but they've adapted to new controllers. Which one is the black button now? So yeah, it's trying to work out all of those bits and pieces. But guys, let us know in chat as well which one you would rather use, or if you used it at all. I know we do have some of our younger audience in the chat, so you may have never experienced the wonderfulness of the Duke controller. They did do a third-party re-release of it, which is very, very good. But yeah, let us know if you've used it in the past. So question 1, that was that. Question 2. Going a little bit later in the day, as in earlier compared to the OG. Favorite Xbox 360 Special Edition console? If you can think of any.
I had one, and it was the Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Modern Warfare 3.
Okay.
And it was the Slim 360.
Mm-hmm.
And it was silver, and it had the logo on there. And when you press the button, rather than the initial bing that you used to get, it did the night vision goggles. It went. That was it, and I loved it so much. I was gutted when I was like, don't get me wrong, the upgrade to the next gen. I was like, yeah, but I missed the night vision goggles button a lot.
Yeah,
a lot. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that was it for me.
Cool. Mr. Timms.
Well, you're going to be disappointed with me. I probably was under a rock at the time. I would not know which one was my favourite. Sorry to allude. No? So I can't really have a point of view on this.
No, that's fair enough. That's understandable.
I could go onto the internet and look it up and pretend I knew, but I don't.
While we're answering, Nige, have a quick look online and have a quick look to see what's available and see which one takes your fancy or what one you would pick. And then we'll come back to you at the end.
I'm looking for Xbox 360 custom case.
Yeah, it's like kind of special edition consoles.
The clear one, the original one doesn't count, does it?
It's a very good console. I specifically said 360.
It was lovely.
It was a very good one.
Because that was my first console that I had.
Did you have the clear one as well?
I had the clear one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice.
So
I do like. I must admit, I do like to be able to see inside. There's something about exposing the inner workings of devices. I guess that's why PCs have a window on the side so you can see all the coloured the coloured LEDs and the cooling system. So yeah, if I could go back a generation or two, the clear, I'm going to go with the clear one. That I'm going to go with that.
I think it's a fantastic choice, Nigel. Absolutely fantastic choice. Ben, do you have a specific favorite?
You think I'll be predictable enough to say Gears, but I'll be very honest with you, right? Halo 3 Special Edition one, that green one with the red accents on the disc, as well as like the schematics on the side. Like, I have a very soft spot for like that gunmetal, dark, clean green color. And then just the detailings. Yeah. I mean, there was the red one for Gears with the Xbox Slim, the 360 Slim, right? I just felt that it looked a bit too busy. I don't know if you Google it, it just looks a bit too busy. It looks like too much is happening all at once. But that 360 Halo 3 edition one, it just looked clean. It looked really clean. And I'm a sucker for like blueprint and schematics type of drawing stuff. Just, yeah.
To be honest, when you said, I'm not going to be predictable, I thought, oh, you're going to go Star Wars with the C-3PO and R2-D2 console.
Oh, I remember that one. I always wanted the controller.
That was awesome, that one.
It was that. That's true.
I did think you were going to go for there, but obviously, to be honest, the Halo 3 one is a strong choice. And I'm following suit, to be honest, Ben, because I'm going with the Halo 4 one, which was, once again, to Nigel's point, was slightly see-through, kind of see some of the inner workings, had the Halo sounds and the shield regeneration sound when you powered it on and did the disc eject and stuff like that. To the point we still have in the house, we have the Halo 4 console, and we boot it up every now and then when we want to play some retro games if it's not on backwards compatibility. But we'll get more into that in a little bit. So I've got a little bit more of a thinker of a question now, and this is to do with kind of the family safety aspects. Would you rather have a restriction on the games that you can play, or play anything you want but have a time limit for each week?
Oh, you got to think like a child then, don't you? Do you know what I mean? It's like...
So you can play, you either have to have a restriction on the games you can play, so that could be a specific game or an age rating, or would you rather be able to play anything but have a time limit on how much you can play a week?
But I'm thinking now, like as an adult, not as a child, obviously, because you can't go, well, you're going to play this Peggy 18 game. And so I'm thinking as me now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. Time limit or restriction? Time limit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were talking about a game just before we came on, weren't we?
Yeah.
Like some of the games that I'm starting to experience now, they're so good, but they have to have that particular rating.
Yeah.
So
no, that's fair enough.
Yeah. I think I'll go time limit because then I get to taste it all.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. How about yourself, Nige?
I'm going to go any game time limit.
Any
because I don't like to be tied down to a particular type of game, or I like to have a variety. I don't play for long at any stretch. I just dip in and out. So having multiple different choices with a time limit, plus also, you don't want to be sat there all day playing. I've got grass to cut and grandchildren to look after and all that kind of stuff.
That's why we were chosen for the stream.
We live very different lives, Nigel.
I know we do.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, time limit, endless titles.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Benjamin?
Indefinite, definitely. You should be that. Yeah, time limit, any titles. But I'll come from the perspective of this. I think the time limit will teach you how to be more skillful when you're playing with the limit that you've got, right? Because you've got a short time, so it might actually make you, when you're on a certain time limit situation, you're just more attentive and you're more urgent with stuff, right? So
Nigel will be back in 2 minutes, guys. You just had to pop out.
No probs. I think there's that aspect of it as well. Having a time limit should up your skill level, and if it makes it feel more occasional, adds that special feeling to it. I've got a short amount of time to really, really delve in and enjoy it. So I think there's that element as well.
No, that makes sense. Cool.
The only problem, sorry to jump in there. The only problem with that though is like I'm just thinking, like as we're talking about it now, if it's a proper story-driven game.
Hmm.
If it's a story-driven game, I don't know how I would feel in the middle of a cutscene where things is getting good, and then your time limit stops. Yeah, I'll be like, no, I need to know. But yeah, so
I think that's the way I look at it, is that I play so many big open world role-playing games that I can sink like 5 to 10 hours in a day, depending if it's a weekday or a weekend, that if all of a sudden I was told, oh, you're only allowed to play for 15 hours a week, I'm like, no, that's not long enough.
That's gonna be in a day. That's one day's worth.
That's one day. It's like, do you know when you look at kind of EA Play and free play days and stuff like that, when you get like a 10-hour free trial to play games and all those bits and pieces, is that I'll do that 10-hour free trial in a day and then be like, oh, I've now got to wait 6 days before the game comes out and stuff like that. So on all those bits and pieces. But yeah, I think I would pick a restriction and play for an unlimited amount of time, because I do have a specific genre of games that I like playing. So I kind of, as long as I would agree the restriction before I take the option, then I think that's what I would go for. I think that's what I would go for. Also,
sorry, I had to disappear. I thought someone set a time limit on this this call, because I suddenly
actually ran out.
I had a battery warning come up, and I wonder why my gaming laptop, where I've been video editing, was playing up this morning. It was very sluggish, and I'm thinking, why is that? Well, it's been running on battery.
Oh dear!
And the mains had come out the back, so my apologies for disappearing.
No problem whatsoever. Just in time for the last question as well. Would you rather play the original release of a game for nostalgia, or would you rather play the remastered version?
I was thinking about this the other day.
Shower thought.
And easy. I would rather play the remaster. If it's my first playthrough, remaster.
But if it's like, say, for your favorite game from the original Xbox, and you're going, you know, I remember playing that like with friends. I remember what it looked like. Would you want to go back to that original that you've played a million times and you love, or would you rather play the remaster?
If there's a remaster available, remaster.
Okay.
I think I've been spoiled now. So yeah, I think if there's a remaster available and it hasn't differed much, don't get me wrong, there's been some titles where it's differed a little bit. If it's like a pure remaster where the graphics are better and it's you know, smoother to play, I'd go for a remaster. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
One of the advantages of getting old is that you forget things. So you know, I can watch a film that I love, but then if I watched it another time, I'm thinking, oh, I don't remember this. So everything's a fresh moment for me. Okay. And so I would probably go, depending on, you know, what game it was, the remastered version, because I probably would not remember what the old version had been like.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fair enough. There we go. I felt like this is a tough choice for you, Ben.
Yeah, look at his face.
Final Fantasy 7 comes to mind, and it just don't know, man.
That is a really good shout, by the way. What you've just said, Final Fantasy is a really good shout.
You've made it feel like a life decision. I mean, it shouldn't.
The sign of a good quality quick-fire question.
Nah, it is okay. I'll do a hot take, and it will have to be the original, because there is something about I'm hearing a soundtrack in my head that I don't think will sound as good remastered, even though technically it sounds better, right? I just feel like if I hear that theme song, it takes me better. I don't know. It's almost like the old masters of certain tracks in their old state still sound better than if they've been remastered and redigitalized, and it sounds clearer. It's like, it just sounds artificial now, right?
It's almost like using, like having a record player versus a CD. You get that gritty kind of sound.
Yeah. Original for me. I'll
interesting you brought up CDs, Tom. It reminds me, back in the day, 1984, I bought my first CD player from a well-known high street dispensary chemist, and it was quite expensive back then. It was about 150 quid. And I worked for a good high street retailer, and we had 8 CDs in stock. And I bought a Dire Straits one, Love Over Gold, and that was remastered onto CD with all the pops and crackles. So actually, I might have been better off buying an LP rather than the CD, because it actually still contained all the original noises. Interestingly,
that's kind of cool.
Fun fact.
Kind of cool. I like that. I like when people they kind of remember what it was like, and they bring it to the current world. I think to your point, Matt, was if they do a remaster but then change something quite drastic, is it a remaster? Because we've had this conversation
before.
Yeah, so it's an interesting way of thinking about it. I think I would rather play the original. I think because that's what I remember, and I think if you're playing, we're talking original Xbox, is if I'm using the original Duke controller as well, I'm immersed in that backwards compatibility title. Whereas if it is a remaster, I'm using a current generation controller that obviously buttons have moved around. Like I don't know what I'm pressing where and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think I would play original for me. That would be my choice. But yeah, that brings us to the end of quickfire questions. So thank you very much, gentlemen, for those. I'll do a quick outro to round out the segment. So thank you very much. Quickfire questions. Awesome. So that's where we come into our. We all like a little bit of a dance, all like a bit of a boogie around, right? So we come into our main crux of what we're going to be talking about today, and that's around backwards compatibility and family safety. So I've kind of split it up, and before the stream, I sent an email to the guys and asked them a quick couple of questions around backwards compatibility. I'd like to have a bit of a conversation around it. So I know we've kind of talked a little bit there as part of quickfire questions of playing older titles. Is on this kind of current generation, are you playing backwards compatible titles? Is it something that you're putting in or loading up digitally or physically to boot up? And how would you say they play now on the new generation of consoles compared to how they played originally? And feel free to jump in, no particular order, if you guys are using backwards compatibility.
It's quite apt actually, because yes, I am using backwards compatibility with my daughter.
Okay.
Because we're playing certain games that are on Game Pass. Available on Game Pass, ladies and gentlemen. Available on Game Pass. We're playing certain games that I played when... I mean, I'm not going to say by any means I was 5 years old when I was playing these games, because I wasn't, because I'm quite old, as we have established. But I've played them in my youth or when I was a bit younger, and she's experiencing them now.
Yep.
So... yeah, we're playing quite a few. Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, and Nuts and Bolts are all on there.
All good
Sonics,
games as well.
We have, really good games. Like and all the Sonics, literally every Sonic available, she's on. So yeah, we're using them quite a lot, and I would say, especially Banjo-Kazooie, it's playing well, really well, because I mean, one. They have the slight upgrade, don't they? But the controls are as I remember them. Yeah. So they were quite basic back then, which for a 5-year-old's brain is pretty good.
He's also playing Sonic 2 with his daughter.
Yeah, so not have things like Banjo-Kazooie, not having to worry about the camera controls so much. Mm-hmm. That it works really well, especially for my daughter. However, for me, because I'm so used to having the camera controls and them not working in a fluid way, like for example, again, Banjo-Kazooie, it's kind of like in segments where it will turn. Yeah. Whereas I'm used to having a full camera control on the right stick. Yeah. That becomes a problem. But for what I am experiencing with her, it is brilliant, and it gets. The nostalgia hit for me, and she's learning how to play games, which is giving us that connection as well, which is really cool.
I was about to say, you still getting that nostalgia hit by playing it on a current generation console?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And there's loads of them, like from back in those days, like Perfect Dark, for example, is one of my first proper first-person shooter experiences. Just to jump back in to see what that looks like was like, okay, cool, that's really cool. So yeah, I'm getting that nostalgia hit too.
Awesome. Anybody else utilizing backwards compatibility?
So I think.
Oh yeah, Nigel.
No, go on.
There you
I
go.
was going to say I've kind of skipped a generation because my kids are the same age as you lot, really. So I don't necessarily sit down and play games with them, but I do have a nearly 1-year-old granddaughter, which her dad's really into his Xbox, and so no doubt that she will be as well. So when she comes round, we'll be able to play some of the old games, the old nostalgic games. So I will relive the experiences that you guys have been brought up around Xboxes. I've kind of missed that chunk of parent-child Xbox companionship.
Sure.
But I'm going to start that sort of new journey very soon, I would imagine. So I'm looking forward to playing all the backward compatible games that I probably played, but not necessarily play with my kids. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future with Daisy.
That's really, really cool. I like that.
Love to see it. Love to hear it. I'll come from a different angle. Mine is more from a technical analysis. So I like to see myself more as a gamer at heart person nowadays. I don't get to game as much as I would love to, but I'm more of the type of person where I follow up with the technical analysis of how games perform, because I'm just a very graphics type of person. Kind of stems from, if you're a PC gamer originally, you go for frame rates and how the game's performing and how it looks. Then you worry about, the storyline and blah, blah, blah. And just following what's been done since, the original announcement with Back Compat, following all the technical analysis of it, it's just been impressive how it's all been done on a system level. Like, none of the devs have had to do anything. Like, I wanted to come from that angle of, it's literally all at a system level. That's a level of convenience that you thought was going to be like each developer for each studio, which we all know changed from time to time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we know it's people that actually develop these games. So if they've left the business or gone to a different studio, you don't know how well the next person is going to handle all that code. So just for the team over to just handle it, one, from the convenience of Ultimate with Xbox Game Pass, to then just working where guarantee 60 frames a second, 4K output, run smoothly, good load times. I find that side very impressive. Maybe I should get into a bit more. Mine would be definitely Gears, no doubt. Right, me and Matt were going through a lot of, if you saw the stream, I was in my element, right? And I would love to relive those type of moments, especially in Gears 1 and 3 for story and just the feel of it. And that
Gears is a really interesting one, because at the moment they have a remaster, don't they, for the first one, the Ultimate Edition, but 2 and 3 have been enhanced for Xbox One X. So they've had an upgrade as well. So it'd be interesting to go back to revisit a remaster and an upgrade, and then obviously play 4 and 5. So I think that'd be a really good shout to play from start. And I will be doing that after our stream. I will be doing that very, very soon.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Yeah, that's my angle. For I come from a technical analysis.
I think I kind of follow on from you, Ben, as well. And for those that know me and know my tattoos and all those bits and pieces, like Mass Effect is a huge part of like my life and stuff like that. And Mass Effect on backwards compatibility, ignoring the Legendary Edition that has come out this year, is I know I spoke about this when we did the stream on it as well. Is that the original Mass Effect used to have your elevator loading windows, your loading screens that were back then you're like, oh, this isn't a loading screen, this is just me riding an elevator. So it's like that hidden loading screen. But that was minutes of just watching your character stand there in the lift and have a little bit of a conversation and stuff like that. But when booting up the backwards compatibility version and talking about the tech stuff that Ben was just talking about, is those load times were like almost, if not more than halved. So I almost then felt like relieved that I was getting back into the gameplay, but also kind of cheated that I wasn't getting any of that conversation anymore, because it would load in halfway through a conversation because that loading time is so much better. And I think that for me is the key thing with backwards compatibility, and especially going into the Series X and Series S as well, is the power of these devices means that you can play these games a lot quicker. You can jump in, jump out. Loading times are so much better. That visual quality is amazing while still getting that nostalgia hit. Like I played Blinks of Time Sweeper about a month ago after it launched onto Game Pass, and I was like, this game looks old, but it still plays really well. Like, and that's the thing. Like, you got to get over, as you said with Banjo, Matt, is the camera controls are a little bit different, and all of that sort of stuff. You got to kind of get used to it again. Yeah, but I love that comment from Wookie of talking about loading times. Of should see the look on my son's face when I tell him the old Spectrum ZX system took an hour to load up RoboCop. And that's the thing. You'd press go, and then you'd go away, have some dinner, and then come back and play. Whereas nowadays, you haven't got enough time to read the tips and tricks on the loading screen because it just loads so fast. So it is amazing how far technology has come.
I've got a question for you actually around Mass Effect, because I was watching a video about secret loading times and how they do it in games and stuff, and obviously I found out all about the elevator because it's quite famous, right?
Yeah.
So, but Mass Effect being as big a game as it was back then, the elevator time that you would spend in that particular elevator, it would give you that kind of scope of how big, say, the Citadel was, right? So you'd be going down, you're like going. So now the loading times, they're that quick. Does that mean that it's ruining that sort of illusion for you of how big the Citadel is from floor to floor? Are you going, hold on, I'm already here. Hey, wait a minute. I normally go and make myself a cup of tea and I'm back. So
I think I kind of look at it and go, this is a futuristic game. It is a science fiction based game. You're going to have more advanced technology than we have in today's world. So I'm like, yeah, lifts can be lightning fast, right? And it's you can kind of jump up and jump down and stuff like that. That's the way I kind of look at it. So I personally don't think it kind of takes anything away for me. But that's just kind of me personally.
All right, cool.
Nigel, you were going to say something.
I was going to say something with all this. So with these quicker load times, what is the advantage really around playing longer in a game, or giving you more time to go and do other things around the house? So does it shorten your play time, or does it extend your play time?
Kind of like a mix of both. I love how I see it is it will probably allow you to extend your actual in-game playtime because you're actually getting into the game and playing more of it. So yes, in that sense, but it shortens the wait time in terms of where you have to wait to get to the next part if you're on the next level. So it's actually a 2 in 2 in a weird way. Right.
But does it take away your thinking time about strategy and what you're going to do?
Yeah, no, it actually does. And you know what, Tom, I wanted to add that's more clever on the developers at the time, utilizing the hardware limitations to add to the game narrative. So you've got to then appreciate what they did then. If they're using load times to have conversation, that's a very clever way to know, like, how do we kind of mask the hardware limitation of what we have right now? So that's a good way to see it from what you said, Tom, and then just your perspective of thinking time for strategy and reducing and increasing your game time. It works all in. It's really good.
I think to answer that for me as well was going back to the story driven games. Like, I'm going to use Fallen Order as an example. Star Wars Fallen Order.
Yep.
Really, really good game. No loading times on screen because whatever it's happening. For example, you're going down the crack of a in a
wall
cliff,
type
you're going
thing,
down, little crevice, or there's a planet rotation or something. You know what I mean? There's not really any loading screens for that, where you're so into the story. And there's other games as well on other platforms that, again, we were talking about before. You're so into the story. If a loading time hits and it's a long loading time, it takes that. It's like, imagine watching a movie, and I hate it when I do it with the in-laws. We watch a movie and they go, right, I need to go for a wee now. They'll pause it, and the whole thing's ruined because you have to sit there and wait for somebody to come back, right? So the whole there's a jarring experience. So I think with these quick loading times and the ability to hide it in a game as well,
keeps you immersed.
Keeps you immersed, and you're really into that story then.
When you used to go to the cinema back in the old days, it wasn't digital, so it was on reels, and quite often there'll be a gap between the film and then them changing the new film.
And you can go get some ice cream.
Get some ice cream
from the lady.
So it's really interesting hearing you guys talk about saving time or loading times. I've kind of brought up with games where you have to swap the CD because
Yeah.
it didn't have enough information on one CD to play the next game, etc., etc. So it's quite staggering. Technology is amazing. Technology, when you look back and then you compare. I mean, I've been through masses in my time. You guys have been through a massive change in your times, but things like loading time is quite interesting. I quite like the psychology of it.
Yeah, that's true. Memory cards, multi-disc changes, JRPG games were synonymous with that.
Yeah,
like you had 4 discs, but it felt more special in terms of like jumping from one disc to the other. That's a good shout. That's definitely true, Nige.
Yeah, Sean's saying like Final Fantasy VII, and I look back at it, and even though it was a PlayStation game of Metal Gear Solid and stuff like that, is you have to jump between discs and stuff like that. It's amazing. Like gaming hasn't been around, or console gaming hasn't been around really that long. It's been around in my lifetime, and to see how much technology has advanced in that time is sometimes amazing. And like we always say, the technology is out of date 6 months after being released because there's always constantly changes and stuff like that. And I'm just really excited to see where gaming goes. If we're here now, what's it going to be like in another 30 years? And I fingers crossed, touch wood, and all that sort of stuff. Am I still going to be gaming when I'm 62? I hope so. But what is technology going to be like then?
Tom, you'll be cutting the grass and making things and taking the grandchildren out for a day, mate.
Pretty much.
But the thing is, even if you think it just this generation right now with the Series X, Series S, right? The games that if you look back at Halo on the original Xbox, if the games that they released on day one of the original Xbox compared to what they looked like and how they played towards the end of that generation, just this generation and the technology and the improvements that they're going to make from now till the end of this generation, if there is one, or if it carries on, however it works, is going to be insane. So 62 years old, Tom, you'll be playing in your brain, mate. You just need a chip in the back of your head. That's all you'll need.
I'll take it. But yeah, that's just to kind of round out backwards compatibility before we move on to kind of the family safety setting stuff. Is that right now on Xbox you can play 4 generations of Xbox on the current generation of consoles. So you can play original Xbox, you can play Xbox 360, you can play a Xbox One titles, and now the optimized for Series X and Series S. I just think it is baffling and amazing and that's free. If you own the game as a disc and it is a backwards compatible title, you can put it into your machine if it has a disc tray, and it will just load up and it'll run that emulation and work. There's no need to kind of buy it again or anything like that, unless you have a digital version, unless you need a digital version of it. Those backwards compatible games are in the Xbox store. You can download them, and they're there to play. I just love that on my shelf I have a handful of 360 and original Xbox titles that if I want to, I can just pop the disc in. I don't need to go into the attic and grab the original Xbox out. It's just there. And Xbox have always said that they don't want to kind of put brick walls up between generations. They want the ability to take your games with you. If you want to upgrade, you don't have to buy 10 games straight off the bat to have a back catalogue. You can just bring all your back catalogue with you and stuff like that, which I think is brilliant. Same with accessories and controllers and stuff like that. Like for Xbox One, if it has Xbox One in the title for an accessory, it will work on the Xbox One that's slim, Series X, and all that sort of stuff as well, which I think is just brilliant. And it's, as I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes next and what new innovations we get with technology. I think it's going to be really, really cool.
Indeed. I know it takes you away from the subject you're talking about, but there's a couple of games that I played with the kids ages ago. One was they're PC-based games, and I'd love to play them again. I'd love them to be enhanced or brought up to date. And there were 2. One was called Fade to Black, which I absolutely loved.
I remember that game.
It was an awesome game, wasn't it?
Was that
I'm gonna
that
look
was
it
a
up now.
platformy thing?
It's a platformy game. And there was like 2 versions. I'd love to play that game now on an Xbox. And the other one was a PC game by LucasArts called The Day of the Tentacle.
Oh, I
And
thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say the game that I've written down for what I would love to be remastered, and I was like, "Oh my god, we've never spoken about this, Nigel, but it's a different game, so it's fine."
yeah, okay.
I need to make Nigel's day. The Day of the Tentacle is available on Game Pass right now.
No way.
Yeah, I'm just going to double check,
It is,
but I'm pretty sure you can.
it's
It's on Game Pass right now. I have literally downloaded it recently. If not, you can get it on Steam as a remaster as well. So it's there, Nigel. You can go get it. Yeah, because on PC or
there was a character in it. He was a stamp collector, and he used to frighten the hell out of my daughter. She was frightened to go into that room. But it's kind of that for me. That's kind of where backwards compatibility and nostalgia all comes in, because I'd have played those ages ago, and they're probably completely rubbish games now compared to what's out there. But for me, that was my experience with PCs and gaming and bringing my kids up. And there are a couple of games. Fade to Black, definitely. I'd love to play.
Yeah,
that.
That brought back some memories. I haven't heard Fade to Black for a very long time.
No,
very long time.
Nigel, just to confirm, Day of the Tentacle Remaster is currently on Game Pass for PC or console. Over 20 years later, Day of the Tentacle is back in a remastered edition that features all new hand-drawn, high-resolution artwork with remastered audio, music, and sound effects.
My grass will be very long.
Well, there you go. Something positive has come out of today. Huh?
There we go. Perfect. So I'm glad you brought that up, Nigel. I'm glad Matt was able to make you aware of that, which is just
Thank
brilliant.
you, Matt.
There you go.
Just on the matter of time, guys, I'm gonna move across to the kind of family safety stuff. And there's a reason that I wanted to invite you 3 on. Because I kind of aren't in this situation. I don't have kids. I don't have grandkids. I've got younger siblings and bits and pieces like that. And I was always the parental controls for my brother from my parents. So my parents would always come to me and be like, "Oh, is Gears of War suitable for your brother?" And I was like, "Mum, he's 12. Like, yeah, but is he suitable?" I'm like, "No, it's not suitable." And that was a specific conversation I had with my mum. But you guys all have kids, grandkids, and everything like that. So I wanted to bring you guys on to talk about family safety and to kind of go, do you use parental controls for gaming, whether that's on Xbox or PC? Is it something that you do use? Is it something you think is a benefit and should be used?
I have literally. Obviously, I have a 5-year-old who's getting into gaming right now, but I've dabbled with family settings app on Xbox, particularly because of other people that I know that have experienced some problems. Okay, so when Ava becomes the type of gamer who's going to be going online, playing those type of games, then 100% I'm going to be using the family settings app. Not just because I work with you guys in what we do, but because it's going to keep her safe and me safe and my wallet safe as well. Because obviously within the family settings app, you can not only manage her screen time and choose the content that she is allowed to play. So she can't play 18s when she's only 12 and so on and so forth. Yeah. But you can manage their spending. You can give them pocket money essentially. So they're not spending your money and it's all on their own account. And you can even get activity reports as well. So for example, if you're unsure of what they're doing, you get a report and it tells you where they've been, who they've interacted with, and friends that are trying to interact with them. Because we all know that the nasties that are out there, you can manage all of that with this one app, and that's purely for the Xbox. But obviously, we've got the Microsoft 365 Family Safety app as well, which does it on a wider scale. And the reason I have it on my phone and I'm ready is because I have friends. And I won't mention them by name, but I have friends who have allowed, their children to play games like FIFA, and created them an account. But because the family settings app wasn't a thing back then, and this is quite a while ago, one of the children of my friends, the credit card was taken out of a wallet, pinch, set up, emails were intercepted and that kind of stuff. And because they were none the wiser of what he was doing, he spent hundreds of pounds on FIFA Ultimate Team. Hundreds of pounds. However, when the next child got to that age, he asked me the question, is there something that's available? I showed him the family settings app, and now they have a controlled account that they give him money when he needs it or asks for it, or they feel like he deserves it. If he needs to come off, they can manage his time. He can then ask for more time if he wants more time via apps and stuff. So they haven't been bitten twice by this same, sort of horrible thing that used to happen before the apps were available. So yeah, it's something that my daughter will definitely have implemented when she has her own account and she's playing on her own.
Oh, definitely. Awesome. Matt, thank you very much.
No worries.
For me, my kids are too old for me to put parental controls on. I never had any controls when they were younger. But we do have Daisy come over a couple of times a week, so no doubt the Xbox will be fired up and then she will be playing games, and it just kind of makes sense if she's got an account that her dad set up, or she goes and plays on my account, I can actually manage it. And by the way, I went off and downloaded Day of the Tentacle already. just saying. I like
it. See, if Nigel's internet all of a sudden goes, we know that it's just because he's downloading some games.
Yeah. Or he's playing it. Or he just looks frozen. He's just playing it.
Have I frozen?
No, you're all good. You're all good, Nigel. See, I think both your situations is, of the service, of what is available to you guys, obviously through working in the job that we do.
Yeah.
And it's something that you are prepared for in the future. So that you aren't going to be susceptible to them racking up a credit card bill or being exposed to something that isn't appropriate to them. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think I used to work in retail and speak to a lot of parents, and they always used to come up to me and go, "Oh, GTA is a 15. GTA 5 is an 18 rated game. Like, is it actually that bad?" And I'm like, these PEGI ratings that are throughout Europe are there for a reason. They actually have to go through a criteria, and it goes off and gets actually sent to a certification business where they go, this is everything that's in this game. Anybody under this age shouldn't be exposed to that sort of stuff. And I do think that a lot of the time age ratings are dismissed and just go, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. But yeah, there are certain things that and the media all the time is our video games cause violence, whereas it's because kids are being exposed to stuff that they shouldn't see and they shouldn't be exposed to, which is where I think the great thing about parental controls comes into play. Of you set those limits. Hello, Nigel.
I put my hand up because I'm a well-behaved member of society. I didn't want to interrupt, but am I allowed to promote a podcast on BBC?
Yeah.
By Dr. Michael Mosley. He has
no relation.
No relation. No relation at all. I think it's Mosley. No, Mosey. I can't remember. Anyway, it's kind of that kind of spelling. Just one thing, and it's about doing just one thing. And I know in his current series, he's going to be talking about the effects of gaming and how it's good for the brain. So it might be worth actually listening out for that one. Just one thing.
Have a look. Have a listen out.
We talked about chocolate yesterday, which was good.
Always down for some chocolate. And to kind of round out the show, Ben, is it something that you've used, obviously, with your kids, or know of like friends, family that have used it in the past? Is it something that you utilize?
I mean, I've got two boys that are going to turn in December. They're going to turn 8 and 6, so they're getting well within their stride in terms of just how much they're into gaming. Luckily, the game that they love playing at the minute is Minecraft. They just like split screen together, going at it, proper mining. But yeah, definitely like with just being so eager to play online as well as just being eager to like want a new game. And I'm like, yeah, chill. So having those restrictions there, oh man, got caught out. It hasn't happened to me for games, but it happened with like one of the streaming services where they were just buying stuff, and I was like, what's going on? And luckily it's not it wasn't as expensive feeling the pinch, because it's like, you know, movies and certain TV shows that are not free part of that streaming service. But from then I was like, yo, definitely on it now. You know,
you kind of managed to catch
day
it
at work
early
and you
enough.
get emails.
Yeah. And the thing is, that's the benefit of now. We after you are receiving emails, and with the Family Safety app, is if they do request to buy something or download something or add a friend, is you get a push notification to your mobile device or an email to your account to say, "Oh, little Johnny has requested this. Do you approve or deny it?" And you get that in real time. Especially with the app, is you get that push notification. You can open up the app, you can accept or deny it then and there. And that's the kind of situation, is you are in control, and then you're not going to be bitten by, as I said, increased credit cards or being exposed to things that they shouldn't be. So yeah, definitely some amazing things that you are capable of doing as part of this. So yeah, gentlemen,
it's just a case of making everyone aware, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the
biggest
thing.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know.
100%.
Well, this is it. And like going back to what Tom said before, like a lot of the older parents, like because nobody was aware of PEGI ratings in games, because they just weren't around for the first sort of, I don't know, however many years, they just weren't rated, right?
Yeah.
This is the same thing. Those parents that didn't know about that, they were just going, like, for example, was it your mom, Tom, that went, is an 18 game, is it suitable for your 12-year-old brother? No, it's not, Mom. but they just didn't know that they just didn't know that they were rated. And this is the thing. And the same with the family settings. The more people that know about it, the more people that know that the control is in your hands. It's completely down to you.
And I know I think the age-old question, as I said, not the age-old question, is kids will always hate it because they feel like they're being restricted. But I think as kids, like we didn't know what was good for us when I was a kid. Like I didn't know what was good or bad for me. I just wanted to do things. And I think it does keep your kids safe, whether that's online, whether that's speaking to strangers or buying things with money that isn't theirs. It's for their safety. And I think, as you say, it's making people aware as much as we can that this is a service that you can get through Microsoft and through Xbox, just to make everybody's community better. As the age-old saying is that of Xbox is, when everybody plays, we all win. And I'm taking it slightly out of context of what it's really kind of aimed at when it comes to playing on any console that you want to. But the more people we can allow to play games and be able to play games, it's
safely.
Better. And safely. And that's the thing. We're doing it all safely. And that's the important thing. Right, gentlemen, I think we have reached time. I want to say a big thank you to Nigel, Ben, and to Matt for joining me on the show today. A little bit of a different show, a little bit more educational and bits and pieces like that, which I think is always good. As you say, making people aware of these things is paramount. So yeah, big thank you for coming on. Nigel, how was your first experience on the videocast?
I want to come back.
There we go. That's exactly what I want to hear.
I do feel a bit of a gaming imposter, I have to say, but because I can't always rely on nostalgia to get me through. So,
well, Nigel, you're off next week, a bit of annual leave. So when you get back, I'm going to ask you all about Day of the Tentacle and what you think to the remaster.
Well, I'm going to be down with my daughter, so I'm looking after her for a week. So we will be playing Day of the Tentacle.
I look forward to hearing about it. Just before we go, I know, Michael, you asked a question on last week's Easy Live. I know it's something that Hannah was looking into. She is unfortunately off this week. I will see if I can pick up with her to just get an answer to be able to let you know. But we will try and get an answer to you as soon as possible, Michael. But yeah, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. We will be live. Myself and Ben will be live tomorrow on Easy Live, looking at the next episode in the Balance Surface video series. I'm having a look at that. And then we have Matt and Ben back on Easy Level Up for the next game in Viewer's Choice, all around the Forza series. So that are our streams for the week. I hope you've enjoyed the hour that you've had with us today. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the week, guys. So yeah, thank you very much. And we'll see you soon. Cheers, guys.
Peace.
Bye.
See ya.